1. Grossinger's Catskill Resort, New York. Grossinger's Catskill Resort was said to have been the inspiration for the setting of the film Dirty Dancing, but the waltzes here have long been over. There's nothing but eerie silence now in this hotel, which once welcomed 150,000 visitors annually and was abandoned in 1986, according to Business Insider. The hotel, part of the so-called Borscht Belt location of summer resorts in the Catskill Mountains, was famed for being the first place to use artificial snow for skiers in 1952, the Daily Mail reported. The 1,200-acre site had its own airstrip, ballrooms, auditoriums and sports grounds, hosting comedians and sporting champions and putting on nightly entertainment. The Grand Hotel, Kupari, Croatia. Located in Croatia's Dubrovnik Riviera, the village of Kupari was once an idyllic summer getaway for the high-ranking military officers of the Yugoslav People's Army. Today, the tourist complex lay in ruins, shell-scarred from attacks during the Croatian War of Independence in the early 1990s. One of the massive hotels, the Grand Hotel, was built in 1920, according to the Dubrovnik Tourist Board. It housed 139 beds and featured an indoor swimming pool, and luxurious rooms with stunning ocean views. Photographer Ben Fredrickson captured the images of the ruins of the hotel, now covered in graffiti and crumbling in disrepair, in the slideshow above. Hotel Belvédère du Rayon Vert, Cerbère, France. Designed in the Art Deco style by the Perpignan architect, Leon Bay, and built between 1928 and 1932, the Hotel Belvédère du Rayon Vert in the French Mediterranean stands out from its surroundings with its imposing and luxurious ship-like appearance. Closed during the Spanish Civil War, the hotel has never regained its former glory, according to the Telegraph. The hotel, which featured a tennis court, ballrooms, theater and restaurant on its roof, was abandoned in 1983 and became a protected site under the list of historic monuments in 1987, according to the French Ministry of Culture. 4. The White Pines, Poconos Mountains, Pennsylvania. Photographer John Walker captured haunting images of an abandoned resort, located on 750 acres of land at the base of the Pocono Mountains in PA, after a fellow urban explorer disclosed the location. In order to keep it protected, Walker doesn't use the resort's real name. He instead refers to it as the White Pines. The resort was formerly a summer haven for garment workers in the early 1900s, according to Abandoned New York. It featured a lake, a theater, a library and an abundance of activities to keep guests entertained. Now, the front desk, bar and theater at the resort all lie crumbling and derelict. The theater and main building interested me the most, Walker told us. Just seeing what time and Mother Nature has done to the location since it closed always makes it exciting to see and capture with the camera. Polissya Hotel, Pripyat, Ukraine. Once the home of 50,000 people, Pripyat was evacuated on April 26, 1986 after an explosion at Chernobyl nuclear power plant caused a radiation leak. Pripyat shows no visible effects of the nuclear disaster, but the decaying city is still eerie. Tourists head to the ghost town every year to witness the crumbling buildings, including the Polissya Hotel, one of the city's tallest buildings, built in the mid-1970s to house delegations and guests visiting the Chernobyl power plant, according to Pripyat.com. According to NBC, tourists have to be tested for radiation after visiting the sites of Pripyat, although levels are low enough to be harmless in most areas of the city. 6. Sanzhi UFO Houses, Taiwan. The UFO houses of Sanzhi, named for their odd shape, were abandoned just a few years after their construction. The owner went bankrupt before completing the houses, which were meant to be a tourist destination and vacation resort on the coast. There are also rumors that the construction came to a halt because thousands of skeletons were found at the site, and that it was the scene of several murders, reported the Taipei Times. Although these rumors were never substantiated, the eerie, empty buildings became popular with tourists and photographers, such as the Taiwanese photographer Cypheron. But the Taipei County government demolished the site in 2008 and 2009 in order to use the site for a new development project, laying to rest all of the ghost stories, said the Taipei Times. 7. Ryugyong Hotel, Pyongyang, North Korea. A 105-story pyramid-shaped skyscraper in Pyongyang, North Korea, the Ryugyong Hotel reaches a height of 1,080 feet, making it the most prominent feature of the city's skyline. Construction for the hotel actually began in 1987, and was scheduled to be completed by 1989. But the 1989 completion was delayed, reportedly due to construction method and material problems, and then delayed again in 1992 because of funding issues, according to CNN. The project ground to a halt completely in 1993. One critic called it the worst building in the world, according to the Telegraph. 8. Unfinished hotel complex, Cala and Serra, Ibiza, Spain. Located on the beach of Cala and Serra in the Spanish island of Ibiza, the abandoned, half-finished hotel complex by renowned Catalan architect Josep Luis Sert, show no signs of the nightlife or party atmosphere that the rest of the island is known for. The project, which started in 1969, was put on hold in the 1970s and abandoned completely after Sert's death in 1983, according to the Ibiza blog Ibiza Photo. There have been debates over the years about what should be done to the unfinished hotel complex. Many islanders consider the structure an eyesore, while others see the project as an important piece of cultural heritage, since Sert is now considered one of Catalonia's most important architects. In 2000, plans were drawn up to complete the complex in the style intended by Sert, for use as an exclusive tourist attraction and thalassotherapy center. These plans were also eventually abandoned, mainly due to the downturn in the island tourist economy. 9. Courbefy Hotel, Courbefy, France. In 2012, Courbefy in central France made news when the entire village was successfully auctioned off for €520,000, around $663,000 at the time, to a Korean-American photographer. The village, which included around 21 buildings and the ruins of a 13th-century castle, has been a ghost town since villagers began moving out in the 1970s, according to The Guardian. In the 1990s there was an attempt to turn Courbefy into a hotel and restaurant complex, but the plan was eventually abandoned in 2008, and since then the village has been left to nature and, according to Le Figaro, abandoned to thieves and squatters. 10. Lake Mead Lodge, Lake Mead National Recreation Area, Nevada. Opened in 1941, Lake Mead Lodge, originally Hualapai Lodge, played a key role in the development of recreation and tourism at Lake Mead National Recreation Area in southern Nevada. The lodge was the first hotel on Lake Mead, according to the National Park Service. The moving of the Lake Mead Marina in 2008, however, isolated Lake Mead Lodge from their marina visitors, and the number of overnight guests staying at the lodge dropped considerably. It was closed in 2009. Maya Hotel, Japan. Perhaps the most popular Hikyo, abandoned place, spot in Japan, the Mount Maya Hotel was built in 1929, and housed anti-aircraft guns on the roof and suffered damage during World War II, according to Forbes. It was rebuilt in the 1960s but damaged again, this time by natural disasters, including a typhoon and resulting mudslides in 1967. After reopening as a student center, it was finally closed in 1995. 12. Unnamed Hotel, Cap Skirring, Senegal. With its white beaches and mangrove forests, Cap Skirring in Senegal's Atlantic coast would make a perfect summer getaway. But armed conflict in the 1990s between the Movement of Democratic Forces of Casments, MFDC, rebels and the Senegalese army negatively affected tourism in the area, according to Eerie in Africa. This has led to several hotels closing their doors. However, since peace has been restored following an accord between the MFDC and the Senegalese government in 2004, tourism is still having difficulties recovering from years of conflict. In 2008, Senegal's tourism national tourism minister said government will give loans to hotel owners who were forced to close their establishments when violence caused tourists to flee, and have not been able to reopen them, reported Eerie in Africa. 13. Abandoned hotels of Bad Gastein, Austria. Known for its spas, thermal waters and a picturesque waterfall, the resort town of Bad Gastein in the Austrian Alps was once a booming alpine getaway, situated in a high valley of the Haute-Aurne mountain range. Most visitors would stay in one of the several Belle Epoque hotel buildings that dotted the steep slopes of the area. Many of these hotels, however, are now abandoned, the ghostly remains and reminders of a once glamorous village. The town hopes to experience a revival with their recent openings on newer, boutique-style hotels.